Who wants to talk about building your custom electric brewing kit? All right, so welcome back to the Homebrew Hobby channel. My name is Tim, and today I thought I would answer a couple of questions regarding my custom kit. Okay, so just a little history on where my brewing started and where I am now. I began using those little Cooper's extract cans about 4 or 5 years now. It was fine at first. I remember thinking that they tasted like Kool-Aid compared to the beer we make now. But at the time, it was fun and it was simple and it was easy. It was literally just a matter of pouring the syrup into some hot water, throwing it in a corner, fermenting it, and you're done. So I decided at a certain point after about a year or so that I wanted to step up my game a little bit. And I decided to go with brew in a bag process, which allowed me to do a 5 gallon batch on my counter indoors using an electric turkey fryer. I actually was using the Cajun injector turkey fryer. I bought it used, cost me 50 bucks, 75 bucks. My brew in a bag cost maybe $30. So for about 100 bucks, which is about the same as someone doing a propane kit, I managed to kit myself out, and I did that for a good year or so. I ended up wanting to upgrade to doing 10-gallon batches, because if I'm going to do a 5 or 6 hour brew day for 5 gallons, I might as well do a 6 or 7 hour brew day for 10 gallons. Now, initially, because I was doing a brew in a bag in my 5 gallon, I decided to do a 10-gallon brew in a bag, which is doable, but beware, it starts getting pretty heavy. So I did the brew in a bag for about 3 or 4 months using the 10-gallon setup, but I decided I didn't like it, and I decided to go with a Mashtun. I was unsure what I would think about that, but it worked out great. It's where I am today. Okay, so let's look at my kit. I'm going to go through each item. I'm going to go into some detail. So if you're into equipment porn, this is the video for you. And okay, so let's do this. Okay, so the very first piece of kit we're going to take a look at is my mash tun. Still more or less looks like new, even though I've used it probably about 50 times. And as you can see, it's a 70 quart cooler from Costco. I think it cost about $75. And what I've done is I've removed the spout that allows you to expend the ice water, and I put a tap from Home Depot on there. And then I put one of these quick release taps or spigots or what you want to call it for my hoses. Now inside the mash tun, what I did is on the other side of that tap is I have a bazooka. And what this does is it allows the grain and the water to mix and sit and steep. And then when I open the tap, the grain bed will filter, and then additionally the bazooka will keep the grain out and allow just a clear wort to flow through. Okay, so here's my electric kettle, and this is I believe a 16-gallon stainless steel kettle. It's got a couple of handles on the side for maneuvering it, which you never want to do when it's full. And what I did is I tapped on either side a hole, drilled a hole, and I put a 110 water tank heater, and I put about 8 feet of electrical. Okay, got one on either side. And this originally was the idea, so you can see the way they're installed. Don't mind the coloring. I was cleaning my pot, so it's a little wet. And additionally, I have a hole for a temperature probe. Now, at one time, I actually had a control panel that, these plugs would plug into. I had a PID which allowed me to observe the temperature, and because I was doing brew in a bag, the PID would turn on or off either of the burners and control the temperature for me. Now that I use my Mashtun, I don't use that temperature probe in the back. Instead, I use this one here in the front. So now in the front, what I did is I added a three-way ball lock, and what that does is it allows me to take these screws off, and I can disassemble the whole thing very, very easily and give it a clean. I have a temperature probe in the front, and I have a sight glass, which is nothing more than geekiness because it just allows me to see the color of the wort without opening the top. Okay, so next on my list is this beautiful little chugger pump and some silicone hose. And what I've done is I've added these quick release. I don't remember the exact term for them. And that allows me to add them to all my pots. Simple as that. And it then connects to this lovely Wort chiller, which if I recall, is a 35 plate Wort chiller. So the wort goes in hot, water goes in cold, the two of them mix without touching, and the water comes out hot and the wort comes out cold. Now, another thing I have is this lovely hop spider, which you connect on the inside and you can throw your hops in there. And what that does is it allows your hops to get mixed into your boiling wort, but it keeps them out of the finished product, which would inevitably clog up this lovely beast here. Now, what I do in my process is I will restrict the flow about yay, and then as it goes through my wort chiller, I can actually see what temperature it's going to come out at, and I'm going to recirculate it into the pot, okay, until I reach the temperature that I want before putting it into the carboy. So when it's at, like 40 C, then 30 C, then 20 C, when it gets down to about 18, then I'm going to take the hose that was in there and just drop it right into the carboy, and I'm going to fill the carboy up. The wort gets oxygenated, and when it's full, I just shut the whole thing down. And the last thing I do is use this. I get a little smidge of wort on the blade that's here. You can see that. Close this, and it's kind of like a scientific instrument. And what you're going to do is you put it up to a light source, and what you can do is it allows you to see the gravity. Of course, there's no water or liquid on there, so you're not, but you can see the numbers. And what that does is it allows you to see the gravity of your beer. Now, lastly, I have this hop ball. I don't use this all the time. Some people will dry hop in their carboy. This will never fit. If I want to dry hop, I will either use a bucket, which has got lots of space, or what I do is I will often dry hop right in the keg. And so what I do is I put a little non-flavored dental floss, tie it to the top of the outside of the cover of the keg, drop this right into the beer as it's being carbed, and it gets dry hopped at the same time. There you go. All right, so I hope you enjoyed this look at my kit. I couldn't find my control panel. Now the power went out a little while ago when I was looking, so I couldn't see anything. Now the power's back, but whatever. But there you go. I hesitate to even try and calculate how much all of this has cost. So do not go into home brewing beer thinking you're going to save yourself any money, because you won't. Oh, nice. I like my hat, by the way. So there you go. I hope you like this look at my kit. Do me a favor and subscribe down below. Give my video a thumbs up, because what that does is it tells me that people are enjoying what I'm doing, and it encourages me to keep going. And if you have any questions or comments about, things I'm doing wrong, things you like, anything you want to know more about, leave me a comment down below, and I will try and get back to you. All right, thank you, and have an awesome day.